Okay, welcome to this week's episode of Love Subbin. And this is an episode actually has been requested multiple times of us.
Right.
And I started to hear some chatter, it's been on our list, and we figured now's the time to do it, right?
Right, and look at all this stuff.
Yep, so we're gonna go over our tools that you need to RV.
That looks like a lot, doesn't it?
Right, well, it's Love Subbin. I mean, come on, we're thorough. But what we're not gonna do with this video is a couple of things. A, I'm not gonna tell you need a screwdriver or a set of pliers or duct tape. I mean, that's pretty much common.
Right.
We're gonna show you some of the things that are less common that we've actually used on the road.
Right.
Importantly, we're also gonna show you how we organize our tools, because it looks like a lot, but it actually isn't.
And we have a specific way that we put things in the truck so that the things that we use the least
Right.
are put farther and inaccessible areas, and the things we use the most are right there where we can grab it.
Exactly. So let's go ahead and get into this episode. The tools you need to RV.
And will we add a checklist maybe?
Yep, stay tuned to the end of this video. We'll show you how you can download a full listing of what we have, as well as our Amazon store, our Amazon shopping.
Yep.
As where you can buy some of this stuff if you want.
So I hope you enjoyed the video.
Okay, like Cindy said, we have our tools organized into placement of the truck to where they're most commonly used. So for example, this tool bag is right at the end of the pickup truck's bed, whereby I can just flip open the window and bam, it's right there.
Or I can grab something.
These are the things we use every single trip all the time.
Exactly.
This bag has the stuff that's important but less used. So this is kind of like in the middle of the truck.
Right.
Where it's accessible, but it's you'd have to kind of move some stuff to get around.
Right.
And then finally, this box here and this bag, they're buried.
Right.
They're in the way in the back, and this is
Right.
the stuff that's least used. So
It would have to be a big time job for this.
Right, like this is my drill basically.
Right.
And I wouldn't be drilling a whole lot of stuff. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at each one of these bags individually.
Yep.
Let's take a look at this bag first. The thing that I like about this bag is the outside compartments here, these little pockets. And therefore I can keep my two flathead screwdrivers right there. You know, needle nose pliers,
Blunt nose pliers,
wire stripper or wire cutters, Sharpie marker, pencil, scraper.
Oh, the putty knife.
The putty knife. You became friends with that for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, in New Mexico when I had to scrape off all that adhesive that died and we had to replace it with new stuff on the sewer.
Yeah, we'll
box.
get into that here in a second, but for those of you with that rear bumper storage area, if you have an Airstream, that thing's held on with double-sided sticky tape.
Right.
And when it comes off, you have to fix it.
Yep.
An old toothbrush, always useful.
Yep.
So,
Scissors.
Yep, scissors.
Scissors, just
X-Acto knife and a carpet cutting knife. The greatest screwdriver ever invented, which is my offset screwdriver. And I'd love to talk about this thing for the entire video because it's one of the greatest, it's one of my favorite tools on the
I
planet.
think you talked about that one in the tools that you may not need, you know.
And that video is linked up here along with my endoscope, and also this one right here, which is my Fluke multimeter. And this I use all the time.
Right. From testing batteries, testing even small batteries, like for
Double A's, triple A's,
Right.
circuits. And you know, if you don't know how to use one of these, find yourself a qualified electrician, have him show you how to use, or her, how to use it safely.
Right.
Because if you're RVing, you need a multimeter.
Right.
But we're not going to talk about this a whole lot.
Right.
Anyway, so that's the great thing about this bag, is everything's on the outside like that.
And this is the one tool that I'm always using.
Yep, it's a Phillips head screwdriver.
Right.
So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the stuff. We got our gloves, of course.
Safety first.
Headlamp. So I want to talk about these bags, these heavy canvas bags real quick. And
As a way to organize within your bag, right?
absolutely. And we're jumping ahead to the other least used bags, but we've got them,
But you got another one.
all these
Little
great
zip.
heavy duty canvas, so you can put things that are sharp in here. And we'll talk about what's inside each one of these.
And they don't rip.
In this tool bag here, color coded the yellow, of course, we have some of our smaller tool items. You are going to need an electrical wire stripper and crimper. That's huge. Some Allen wrenches for the set screws. A little, I like this thing, a magnet.
Right. That's to get like screws you drop behind the counter.
Right.
Or behind the fridge or whatever. Handy dandy.
Yeah.
other neat stuff in there.
Yeah, these are all the small things. Small zip ties, a dentist mirror.
And this is stuff that we've accumulated over, what, 20 years of,
Yeah.
RVing experience?
These things are great here. We'll show a picture of these. These are little tools with a little hoop loop.
With different endings.
Poker. Yeah, so you can scrape things. These are great. So all my small tools go into this little bag here. A can of WD-40. That's used every single time.
Level. You have to have one.
Tape measure. Cordless drill. Cordless screwdriver. So this is the stuff, like I say, that gets used every single trip.
Yep.
So let's move on to our next one. This is our second tool bag that we're going to go through. And this is the one that's kind of stored
in the middle.
Yeah, out of the way.
Out of the way, but
it's accessible.
Right.
But not really. So the first thing right up at the top, this is our PPE, our personal protective equipment. And here we have dust mask, safety goggles.
I think that's my old Estee Lauder bag, right?
It says Estee Lauder, but
yep.
I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay with that. And ear protection. So all of our personal protective equipment is right here.
Right. Look how wide this top opens up too. It reminds me of Mary Poppins' bag when she opens it up.
All right, let's look at some of the lesser used tools. This is a good one right here, in that this will clean out your drain. You insert this into your drain, and it's got these little teeth in the end here to
hopefully grab stuff.
Right. So I don't like putting
Drano
and that kind of stuff down my RV system. So when your drain needs a little cleaning, this thing comes in super handy. We have just a little dustpan here.
Ooh, I remember that guy.
Pocket reference book, also from the 5 tools you might need. This is a little miscellaneous bag that I kind of like. First of all, Plumbers Teflon tape. Absolutely mandatory for making those connections at your water fittings, etc.
Right.
I always think having some string is just a good idea to fish stuff and things like that.
Yeah, you never know.
Zip ties and our famous double-sided
Gorilla tape.
Gorilla sticky tape. This stuff is great. And
came in handy when we had to fix the sewer box holder.
As I said, that door is held just with sticky tape, so we got that stuff.
Yep.
And some zip ties.
Yep.
Always helpful. We have a bunch of random miscellaneous screws, electrical connections.
What's this thing?
This is a battery tester to test the electrolytes in your battery if you have a lead acid battery.
I like this little guy.
Yeah, this guy always comes in handy. This little Irwin quick grip clamp, so you can clamp things. We also have some smaller clamps.
Yep, at the bottom.
Like this.
Yep. What's this thing?
This is a electrician's fish tape, so you can
run, oh yeah, we used that for the boat. We ran electrical wire.
Yep, so if you need to run electrical wire through walls and stuff like that.
tight spaces.
That's always a good thing there.
Yep.
Some more screws. This template is a good idea in that it allows you to gauge how thick a wire is, thickness of screws, it gives you all that stuff.
Yeah, you walked through Home Depot with that thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you said this was...
That's a hacksaw. We have it. I don't think I've ever used it, but just in case.
That would be to cut like a tube or something?
Yeah, it's a metal thing. So we have also our rivets, box of rivets, and our rivet gun.
And we use that in our Zip-D awning.
Yes, when we put the sunshade up on the Zip-D awning.
That was very handy to have.
Just some random.
They supplied the rivets, but we had the gun.
Or zip ties and documentation.
And this is a little weird thing.
Yeah, this is a cool wrench. This is kind of like the wrench version of the offset screwdriver in that it's got this teeth here. And you can, difficult spaces, because RVs always have difficult spaces.
True. That's
why the offset screwdriver is so great, and that's why this, so you can put it up, and then you can tighten or loosen a bolt that's up in an area that you might not be able to get your whole hand into. So this is also very helpful. I carry a caulk gun and a tube of Sikaflex 505 UV for any roof leaks that we might come across on the road.
And we used that when we sealed the roof on our Airstream, right?
Yes, and so this is what I use. I think the factory used to use this and they use something different now. I think it's called Ad Seal or something. Of course, we have our micrometer that we've talked about. Standard socket set.
You want to show what the micrometer, this thing looks like?
Yeah, the micrometer. And that allows very fine measurements when you're trying to get something.
And we just recently used that to measure the sliders on the drapes.
And that'll be a future episode with Cindy. And finally, the electrical butt splice crimping tool.
Right, and you have the butt splicers in here, right?
Yep, that's in this miscellaneous electrical bin. So
But
that's kind of...
That's only to use if you know what you're doing.
Yes. If you don't know what you're doing with electricity, electricity, as we said, can make you real dead real fast. So don't mess with electricity.
And
yep, that's the socket set. I have a tube, clear tubing just in case. And
cups.
more of the cups. Those are the ones I use for my wheels to take the, because when I take...
That was the video that we changed the wheels out.
Yes, whenever I remove nuts from a critical item, I put them onto the same stud all the time.
And use this for that.
And finally, the last thing that we have is this thing to clean the terminals of batteries.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah. So there you have it. That's the secondary
tool bag
that we kind of use. And so I'd say some of the most important critical things here, well, if you have an airstream, the rivet gun, the socket set,
yep,
the electrical connectors if you're
the micrometer
qualified.
I think comes in handy.
We use that quite a bit, yeah. So there you have it. That's our second tool bag.
All right, we got a bin and our last bag, right?
Yeah, we'll just talk about this bag real quick. This is just nothing too great. This is just my Milwaukee drill.
Again, a nice
batteries.
Wide opening in the bag.
Just the drill. I used to carry a saw and a
what kind of saw?
a driver, like a jigsaw.
Jigsaw.
And I just figured I would probably never use those, and that's what's good to go through these things every now and then, and you kind of clear them out because...
if you don't use it a lot, or you don't think you need it, you can try without it and see how it goes.
Right. And then so this is the last box that we have, and this is the stuff that we use very little, but we have. First thing, a plastic drop cloth. And this is great to have if ever you needed to get under your rig, say if it was wet or something.
Right.
But most importantly, this would be used for if a window breaks on the road or a fantastic fan cover blows off in the middle of the night when it's pouring down rain.
Right, you need something to cover a big area.
This is good to have in an emergency. So the plastic covers. This is my endoscope. So again, with my 5 tools that you don't have that you probably need. I love this. I enjoy this.
What does it exactly do?
Well, it's a camera that's flexible. You can check out that video here. Mm-hmm. We've used it to check out the condition of our hot water tank, to find things that fall into the nether regions of the airstream. It's got a little hook, so if that magnetic thing doesn't work.
And to go behind cabinets and stuff and see what's going on.
Exactly. Check for any the condition of any leaks or something like that. So this is...
It's good.
That
one?
This is the combustible gas detector that I have. And this is to check for any propane leaks.
So it's like a gas sniffer, right?
It's exactly what it is. And it does all kinds of natural gas, gasoline, propane, naphtha, butane, methane, ammonia.
Wow, so it checks for all those gases.
It checks for all those gases, exactly.
Wow, and in a safe way too.
Right, and I know, I mentioned this to somebody and they're like, well, propane smells, they put egg smell in it. They do. But this will help pinpoint where that leak might be coming from.
Right.
If you can't get the sudsy water onto the area.
Yeah.
Okay. And as I said, these 3 little bags I think are from Klein Tools are great. And what it allows me to do is to compartmentalize some of my tools. So for example, blue.
And they're color coded, right?
Right. So this is my Dremel. Someday I'll get a rechargeable one, but for now I've got a plug-in old core Dremel. So the Dremel, all my sanding discs, all my Dremel attachments.
Now what would you use a Dremel for in the RV?
You use it for absolutely everything. When you run out of ideas, you start Dremeling. Take out the Dremel and just do something. WD-40 and Dremels.
Okay. The WD-40 is my solution.
That's Cindy's, yeah.
And duct tape.
Yeah, that's, Cindy's solution is always WD-40. So.
Or duct tape.
Right. A plug doesn't work. She's like, well, put WD-40 on it.
Well, not really. I don't do that, but if you can't unscrew something, why not put WD-40 on it?
The brown is our glue gun. So we've got our glue gun.
That's technically my glue gun, by the way, when I did crafts.
Right. But it's always good to have a hot melt glue gun for sticking things together.
Right, and we have a little wooden thing to rest it on so that we don't have to mess up any countertops or anything like that.
Right.
Safety first.
And then finally the last is all of the lesser used small little tools.
And this is the interesting bag, right?
Yeah. Like a tool for reattaching screens on if you break your screen window.
I've always wondered what this was for.
I don't know.
See, it looks like it has a.
I have no idea what that is.
It looks like it fits over a bolt or something that you can unscrew, maybe.
It's actually the same thing as this.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
And I believe it's a something for the
it's
sink or something.
Yeah, because you can put like something through that and unscrew something.
Things like feeler gauges that you might use every once in a while.
This you said this was a feeler gauge. What does it exactly do?
Well,
it fans out.
Yeah, it fans out, and it has specific width. So if you have a spark plug or something, and you're trying to get its gap. You slide that in, and if it slides in, it's at least that thickness. If it doesn't slide in, it's less than that.
Is that something you can't use a micrometer for?
Nope, you can't, because it'd be something like, look at how thin that is.
Yeah, that is really thin. Oh my goodness, that's like a piece of paper.
Right, that's actually looks like 1.5 thousandths thick.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though.
Yep. So that's kind of the lesser used stuff.
These are always handy dandy. For micro screws, say sunglasses or glasses.
Yep. We have some in the truck for the glasses, but these are
those are
for just micro screws.
Right. That's kind of a handy thing. So yeah.
So that's our last bag.
Yep. So there you have it.
So I said at the beginning of this video that we'd give you a link to how you can get the complete listing of all the tools that we have here.
Right.
And that is shown here at www.lovesubbin.com, and we'll have a place where you'll see our tool list. We'll also include the list of our first aid equipment, because we did this video here which shows our first aid gear a while back, and we did that with the rescue squad. We'll have a list of all of our first aid equipment as well, so go ahead and check that out. It'll be under the equipment tab under more.
Okay, so it's going to be in a different spot than your actual checklist, right?
Yes, we've got all of our checklists as well.
Okay.
So it'll be in a different spot, but definitely check that out.
Yep.
If you want to go ahead. Well, there you have it. There's the tools that Love Subbin carries with us when we're on the road.
Right.
You know, I think the thing is, RVs break.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter whether you have an Airstream, a pop-up, a fifth wheel, a Class A, they break.
So what's your favorite phrase? In order to do anything,
you have to have everything.
Exactly.
So if you like this video,
give us a big thumbs up.
And if you think we've earned a subscription, click to subscribe.
And comment below if you think we have way too much stuff, or if you have something that we are missing.
Because we come out with RV and Airstream related videos just like this one every Tuesday.
Thanks for watching.